Have you ever asked yourself why fear feels so catastrophic? Why failure feels so catastrophic? Why do we fear to fail? Why, let's say, disrespect feels painful? Have you thought about when our um, oh, sorry. Why our when our identity is threatened, we are so protective of it. Have you thought about this? For instance, let me give you an example. Just recently, I have noticed that I'm overprotective related to how people perceive me, my personal brand, me as a coach, and how harmful it is for my business development. So, if you want to develop your personal brand, if you want to establish yourself as a public figure, you really need to address this issue of fear of failure, because if you don't, then it will hinder your growth, it will limit your potential. I'm sure you don't want this. Let us delve straight away into this topic, and only later I will ask you to subscribe to this channel. So, usually I take a lot of time to get into this topic, so let me give you the value straight away. We are talking today about the identity, but just because it is very much related to the fear of failure, you need to understand on which side you are, or how developed your identity is, or how it is rigid and limited, for you to understand why do you fear so much. This program is a deep dive. Deep dive is the program where I actually discover many things for myself and I discuss them with you. So I am not the institution to tell you the total truth and only truth. I am giving you my perspective and we are discussing. So I am willing to challenge my own beliefs. How do I see things? And to discover something new. So if you are ready, let's go. Don't forget that you can comment. So you see, this is my comment. There should be your comments as well. Write where you are watching from. And thank you for subscribing, because without subscribing to this channel, you cannot comment on live streams. This channel is for people who want to become public figures, who want to become famous, but for the right reasons, which is, in our understanding, is to influence, to help people, to change things, to challenge status quo, to improve things in society and stuff like this. And I'm the one who helps you, because this is my mission, to help you grow publicly, but from the perspective of not just empty building an empty image, but to have a substance in you. So I do this through helping you to create quality content and quality products. Today we need to discuss the fear of failure, because it is crucial to your growth. So let's start with the following. Let us start to understand, first of all, what is identity. How do you understand identity? Can you write in comment what is your understanding of identity? Or if you're watching this in recording later, then write if I will change your understanding of identity. All right. So here is my drawing board. You don't see it, but it is there. Look at this. You see, you can see me drawing, so that's my drawing board. So identity. We are talking today about the identity which is rigid and is not allowing you to grow, which is limit. There is different types of identity. There is identity that is underdeveloped. So let me start like this. Identity can be undeveloped and can be stable when it's developed, and it can be rigid rigid. I don't know if it's right to write like this. Rigid. Rigid, or let us say maybe narrow. This I know how to write. My English is not that good, but still I can communicate. That's great. So that's with that identity we are talking about is about narrow identity and underdeveloped, because usually this identity fuels the fear and overprotectiveness of your boundaries. First of all, most probably you will be interested to know, okay, how does it impact me? So let me tell you a story. Let me start with a story. I had a lot of experiences in my life when I was betrayed on leadership positions. So I have worked a lot to reach a higher status in society, to earn respect. I didn't do it to earn respect. I was just passionate about what I was doing. And I was investing a lot in people, in projects, at work, at services. And then I found myself in the place where I have lost my position. I've lost my position not due to my own failures, like mistaken decisions or things like that, but because someone decided to remove me from this position. And it created traumatic experience, such a traumatic experience that I started to be overprotective, not to get into situations like this, not to fail again, not to be in situations like this. So how does it reflect in my life? I am constantly I'm constantly searching and let's say scanning through cues, trying to find cues that will show me that this situation is about to happen. So how did it happen in the past? In the past, I have let people be closer to me, be more familiar with me, and be friends actually. So that's where I'm overprotective now. Not everyone can be my friend, and I'm really, really protective of respect. Anytime that I see that there is some kind of phrase that shows that there is no respect, or anything that shows familiarity, anything that shows that the person feels entitled, I immediately either affirm the boundaries, or I might even cut off relationship very fast. So just few experiences in my life led me to not allow the situations to happen, so that I don't fail as a leader again, as an influencer. Because when you are working in the company somewhere, you are building a project, you are a leader there and you are an influencer. So what I have noticed is that this overprotectiveness of my boundaries doesn't allow me to work with other people and grow my influence, because I cut them off too early. You might have a totally different situation. You might not even have this situation. But I want to bring this example for you to understand how rigid rigid self-image and identity can harm your growth, your cooperation. So in these situations, what happened is that it happens the following. So we have anytime we have memories, we have a protector growing in us. So let's say this is a protector. This protector will always scan for cues. It will be scanning for cues, showing where this situation is close, the current situation we are in is close to what happened then when we failed. So, and there is another identity. It's builder achiever, builder and achiever. Everyone has a potential. We want to achieve things. So this builder and achiever, it cooperates with people. It tests new things. Basically, it's responsible for the growth. So this is what happens. These two identities, these two parts of identities here, they conflict. So this is where we feel that we have been abused by someone, and we can immediately cut off communication with this person because we feel like we can fail again in the previous situation. And the builder achiever says, let us give this person a chance. Let us see this from another angle. Maybe this person didn't know about what his behavior is about. How does it reflect on relationships? So you see, there should be a balance in cooperation between builder and protector. But usually when we have rigid, please, if I'm writing it incorrectly, if rigid is not correct, then I don't see anywhere written rigid here. So if it's not correctly, let me know. But I'm writing like this, R-I-G-I-T, rigid. So rigid identity doesn't allow this flexibility. It doesn't allow flexibility over here. And with rigid identity, the protector takes over. When we are oriented on growth, the builder takes over. So these are the things to work on. This is why we need to work on those things. And that's why it's important. So you see, the identity is not like something like who am I, only understanding like what what job I should find for myself. This is the first level of identity seeking. But when we are grown-ups, when we are like 40 years old, 50 years old, have you noticed that as more we grow, as older we become, the older we become, the more fear we have of failure. Have you noticed this? Is it something that you have seen in your life? I did. I have. So we are afraid of failure as bigger we become. And that's because we have these experiences accumulated, and our protector grows and our identity becomes rigid. So you remember these 3 stages: searching for identity, stable identity, and rigid identity. But maybe it's going to be better if we will just discuss what identity is. So I will give you a few cues of what identity is. So identity is about who you are, is about who you are, what do you value, your values, right? And why you matter. The attack on identity is actually an attack on who you are, what you value, and why you matter. So what happens is that when someone disrespects you, it shows that they don't value you. You are nothing. You do not exist. You cease to exist. You do not present value to this person, and this person is representative of a society. And this is frightening. It comes from the past when we had to identify with a group, find where do we belong, so that we can thrive. It was really essential in the past, but it's not less essential in our days. Why? Because if you don't find a job that will provide you with income, it means that you can create value for the society and exchange this value for money, you won't survive. You most probably will become a beggar, you will become a homeless person, right? It's usually like this. Many people are practicing now going off grid, like taking the piece of land and tilting this land and being self-sufficient. But they are using also new technologies, because for the light they are using solar banners, solar batteries. For medicine they are using penicillin that was invented by and produced by someone. So they will use what the society will provide, and they can sustain this lifestyle as long as they have money, or like to pay for those things that are produced by the society. So this life is not self-sustainable. We are still living in the society where we have to create value to survive. So it means that we need to find our place in society. What finding our place is connected with. Finding our place is connected with how people will look at us. So how people see us. This becomes very important, how people see us. Because from this will depend if they will purchase from us, if they will invite us for like something. So if they will cooperate with us. This is why this topic is so important for anyone who wants to become a public figure, because public figure has to find the identity, has to find the identity, the niche, your placement in this society. What is finding your role? And here is the key. The role is the key to identity, understanding the identity. So now identity, it consists of few things. It's roles. It consists of roles. What is roles? Like mom, worker, entrepreneur, coach. Let me just write this few. Mom, coach, let's say. Entrepreneur, teacher, doctor, people who retirees, yeah. Then next one is beliefs. About what? About yourself. What do you believe about yourself? That's like what identity consists about from. For instance, I am capable, or I can do this, or I can't do this. So beliefs about your capacity, your features, let's say. And then its values, the next thing from which the identity is formed of, consists of. It may include, let's say, integrity. You want people to be true to you, um, not to say lies, for instance. Yeah, you value growth, for instance. You value independence, and you are ready to pay the price for these things. That's why they are values. Then another thing is experience. Like I gave you my experience, like memories, yeah? So these memories, they shape my identity. And these memories that I had, the negative memories, these memories is shaping this identity that is overprotective and rigid. And then another one is social feedback. So every time you are doing anything, you get a social feedback. Do people think you smart? Do people think you are capable? It's not enough to just know what you think about yourself. You also need to have a social feedback. And that is why many entrepreneurs, creators on social media, on YouTube, they are so much connected to likes and subscribers, because this is a social feedback about their work. So when this becomes a problem, all this is not a problem at all. Everything that I have shown you, it's not a problem at all. This is how identity is formed. Identity is important for us. Why it's important? Before I go and talk about where is the problem, actually. So let us talk about why the identity is important. So number one, identity provides stability. It provides stability. If we don't have a stable identity, we don't have an anchor. We don't know how to build our life, which decisions to take. We cannot be sure about anything because there is no stability with no clear identity. Who am I? Another one, so it helps with decisions, as I said. Decisions. Then it helps to regulate the relationships, so social interactions, social interactions, right? So how do people perceive me? They will interact with me. For instance, I am a mom. I'm not, but like for instance, for example, I'm a mom, so my children have a specific relationship with me because I am a mom. All right? Or I am a boss, so my subordinates, they have specific relationship with me. Or I am a student, so I have a specific relationship with my teacher. Or I am a doctor, so I have a specific relationship with my my clients, my how do we call, patients. Yeah. So this is regulated by the identity. Identity is what creates meaning. We are creatures that are created to seek meaning. If you believe in creation or not, you still are looking for a meaning of life. So you cannot be sane in your mind clearly if you do not have meaning of why. Even atheists, have meaning of life. They find meaning of life. Those people who don't believe that the meaning comes from something from divine personality, from God. So even those people who believe that we are on the stone that flies around the fireball and there is no purpose for this, it just happened because of Big Bang, they still find meaning in life. So meaning is what what identity provides. So let's say I am a coach, and the meaning of this is that I help people to grow in something, to overcome something. That's the meaning of what I'm doing. And it's like this with any identity. Why it's valuable to me, yeah? Meaning is why it's valuable to me. And then it protects the identity. It protects self-worth. So anytime you lose the feeling of who you are, an identity, you lose stability. You can make decisions. So you lose stability, you can't make decisions, your relationships crumble, you don't see what is the meaning of anything, so you could have depression. And of course you have low self-esteem because you lose your worth. You don't know what's your value because you don't have understanding of your identity. That's why any person is looking for identity. And this process is not stable. You are looking for identity, you find an identity, then you can fall into these extreme cases where when identity is rigid and it's harmful. So that's where I wanted us to discuss this. So what's the problem with the rigid identity? By the way, I think this topic is very interesting, but I don't know how deeper to develop it because I have a lot to share. It's the part of my book that I want to write. I'm just collecting the materials for it. But I want to know, in the deep dive, how much do you want to know about identity? What do you want to know about identity? Do you want to know how to find the identity? Do you want to know how to keep this identity stable? Today we are talking about how rigid identity influences our fears of failure, falling out of this identity. So that's why I'm talking about this today. But let me know if you want to know more. Write in comments. And comments, they help me very much to reach more audience, to reach more people to watch these videos, because I think they are helpful. Don't you think they are? So if you believe that they are helpful, please write comment, make a like, and share also this video. Share maybe the just a clip from this video. There is a button under the video that is named clip, and you can select just 1 minute of the clip and share it online, not the whole video. So how does this rigid identity create negative patterns? So let's say, let me write here, negative patterns. So how this creates negative patterns? So step number 1, we over identify with something. So this is called identity overload. Identity overload. So what is identity overload? Is when we put a lot of emphasis on one role. We have many roles. And imagine that you put all of your worth, you create all your values around just one identity as a mom. So you will be overprotective of this identity because you put all of yours of your worth in this identity. Anyone showing you in some way that you are not a good mom, you will be lashing out. For instance, someone have given you unsolicited advice. What will happen with you? You will say, oh, thank you, I didn't ask you for unsolicited advice. So you will be rude. Why you will be rude? Because you will be protecting your identity, because you have a lot of focus on this identity making you worthy. Or let's say I'm a coach and I had one coaching session when coachee told me that, who do you think you are? Look at other coaches, how do they coach? Let's say, look at Tony Robbins, how he coaches people, and you are not close to it at all. So although I know I'm different coach from Tony Robbins, I have totally different style, I have my own style, but in this moment when I was told this, it threatened my identity. Although I don't want to be just like Tony Robbins, just giving me a feeling or a sign that I'm not a good coach because I'm not like Tony Robbins, it created in me a lot of emotions and reactions to this comment, which I assessed to be rude. And I told about this. So you see, identity overload is when we usually are not good at handling difficult, critical situations because of the identity overload. Emotions get in on the way. Many things are happening that are not allowing us to have a clear and cold head. So let's say that your identity or your identity is on focused on results. So you would say almost, I am my results, which is very much my case. I'm very result oriented. That's a good thing. But there is also a bad thing about this, is that I feel like I am my results. So if I don't have results, I feel myself like a failure. So what does it bring to? We have hypervigilance. When you have identity overload, then you have a hypervigilance around anything that that can destroy our identity. So anything that will influence my results, I will be hyper vigilant around this. For instance, for a person like this, it's difficult to delegate, because if I am focused on high quality results and it represents me, if I delegate and it's not done correctly, then my identity is threatened. What does it mean? It means that my well-being is threatened because of this, because I have this rigid identity. So I am hyper vigilant and difficult to work with. So I will scan for all small things possible that will become threats. So anything will become, small thing become threats. This is how it explains when people overreact to things. People are overreacting to someone saying something bad to them because of this, because of them being overprotective and hyper vigilant, which is that's why we shouldn't categorize people. We just need to understand that this is where they are right now. They are in this this level of the identity self-identification. And remember that it can be rigid. You can be in search anytime in your life. So it doesn't mean that if one time you have found yourself, you have understood what is your identity, you build your personal brand on this, you build your business around what you think is your identity, but one day it can be all reverted and changed. So you will have to find a new identity again, and then maybe being overprotective. So we have to understand that when people are not behaving well, it's most probably because they have this issue with self-identity. And then number 3, what happens? How the negative pattern forms. We said identity overload, then hypervigilance, and number 3 is overcompensation. And I will explain what is it. Overcompensation. Overcompensation is when we over-deliver on what's necessary. So if I am focused on results, I will work a lot and I will go off balance. So I will give a lot of time to things that I shouldn't give. So I will burn out because of this, because I do not understand where I should stop. And I don't want to understand where I should stop because it threatens my results. And bad results, it threatens my identity. So I am afraid to fail to bring those results. And that's why I have to double down on anything I'm doing. I have to forget to eat, forget to sleep, forget to relax. I cannot do hobbies that do not add anything to these results, right? So it means rigid identity. Overcompensation is a result of this pattern. This leads to burnout, and let me write here so that you have it in your mind. I'll write the word burnout. And then number 4 is early withdrawal or very strict boundaries enforcement. So what it means that you will protect. So you are hyper vigilant, you are overcompensating, but also you need to protect your boundaries. So you will protect boundaries of your identity. And what you will do, you will either like cut relationships. So overprotecting, withdrawal, and what else is boundary enforcement. So for you to understand that when you have rigid identity, you cannot cooperate. This is where with many people it's difficult to discuss some things because they are overprotective of what they believe about themselves, about life, because identity is how you see life. And it's good that we are protecting our identity in some instances, like for example, now when Ukraine is in war with Russia, this is identity war. This is the war to protect the existence of the country because Russia doesn't want Ukraine to exist. But Ukrainians, they understand that they are a nation. They want to define how they will live in this life, which laws they will have, who will they elect as a president, how they will develop their country. So they want to protect their understanding of life and protect their identity, so they are paying the price for this identity. And it becomes very rigid because, for instance, in Ukraine now, it's not comfortable always to speak Russian. Although it is bilingual country, it is literally a country that speaks Russian and Ukrainian bilingual. But Many people, they start going to transforming and going to using Ukrainian as part of their identity building, because speaking Russian feels like threat to the identity of the country. So you see how much identity influences our decisions. Sometimes we need to have rigid identity to save ourselves. So here is important thing to understand. Identity, it is a survival mechanism. And you remember that when we talk about survival, it's not about living, it's stressful mode. It's a mode in which we cannot be all the time. So you can have rigid identity that will create a fear of failure as a result. But you cannot be in this state for always, because it's survival mechanism and it's designed to be temporary there. You cannot live for ages like this all your life, but because it's not the life at all in this case. So it's okay when we have the rigid identity. We need to understand ourselves. We need to forgive ourselves. But at the same time, we need to understand that the fear of failure, it comes from fearing for yourself, like to see that your identity is not like what you think. To look at yourself from different angle and to discover that, you know what? You are not what you think you are. You are not that good as you think. You are not that competent as you think. This is why many people, they don't study, they don't learn things, they don't have intellectual curiosity, because everything threatens their identity. I want you to understand this, because as influential figure, someone who will become an influential figure, a public figure, as I teach you to be, someone who will have 1 million subscriber channel, you need to be able to review your identity and not to be afraid to challenge your status quo, your own status quo. Understanding this mechanism. So this is like the therapy for you, to understand how the mechanism works so that you will become more free. The freedom comes from understanding how things work. So I tried to explain to you. What do you think about what I have discussed with you? Can you write in comments if you think this is a little bit complicated? What do you feel? Because even if you need to rewatch to write what you are thinking, you still can write what do you feel about this? What is your feeling? Do you feel like you have here like some discomfort over here? This is a stress that you feel because I'm talking about removing the things that are protecting you. Because I'm saying to you, you know what, rigid identity is problematic. So it means that you have to loosen up a little bit. And then it means that, okay, then it means that I'll have to search for my identity again. Then it means that I need to find who am I. But that's a process. This is life, and it's going to happen all the time. So you change the roles. You remember, let me go back to what identity is, because you remember that it's about roles, it's your beliefs. So here it is, yeah? So it is your roles. Sorry, I'm trying to do it beautiful over here. Okay, I think we are good. So it's about your roles, your beliefs. What do you believe? What you believe about yourself. And then you remember that what other people believe about you. Then your values. Do you know that values are changing during the lifetime? So it's if it's about your values, then it means that your identity will change. It's about the roles. You might be a parent right now, but you haven't been a parent before. So you didn't have to think about this role. It wasn't your identity. your experience, you didn't have many experiences and memories. So you see, your identity is going to be changing all the time. That's why there is no sense in sticking to a rigid identity. We need to revise it. Think about what I'm afraid of, what stops me from doing what I need to do, why I'm afraid, what am I protecting, what role I stick too much to. So you remember that we have many roles, but when we are overprotective of one role, I can be, let's say I'm a coach, but also I'm a wife, also I'm a daughter, but at the same time I'm a human, I'm a woman, I'm a Christian, but also I separate this identity from I'm a believer, which is different. I am an artist. I'm a learner. And these identities, if I have them, if they are not, if there is no focus on just one identity when they are working together, this is a stable identity. So it means that when, as a coach, I make a mistake, I remember that I have also an identity of a learner. So I'm a learner, I'm doing mistakes. That's fine. So it means when I'm doing mistake, I'm not protecting myself and trying to hide my mistakes because I'm a learner. But if my focus is only on the coaching, that I am a coach and I want to be the best coach, and I tie my identity to the coaching, then any threat to my identity as a coach is going to be overprotected. So I'm going to be behaving somehow in extensive, so much like not controllable. So you see, identity has to have a wide spectrum of values, experiences, social feedback, roles, beliefs. So not feedback from only subscribers, not feedback from only likes, but also feedback from other people, not feedback from only your parents. It has to be a wide spectrum of feedbacks from social connections, not just one. What makes identity rigid and makes us fear things is when we focus on one role, one belief, very rigid values, just experiences that we had. We had negative experiences, but someone in the same circumstances had good experiences and they learned something different. So we shouldn't be afraid to open up for these other experiences. And this is what I want you to take from today's conversation, for you to be free and not afraid. You know that children, they are not afraid of doing many things because they don't have actually defined roles except of listening to their parents, but they don't have this concept of their role, and they don't have a lot of beliefs about self. They are just defining their values, they're just collecting their memories and their experiences, and the social feedbacks is from loving parents, ideally from loving parents. So they do not afraid to experiment, they don't afraid to go and try things because they have a safe base. They don't have rigid identity. They don't have their in their imagination that they need to have this identity. And that's why I think even Jesus preached that you have to be as children. You should be as children because the kingdom of God belongs to children. And also he said about identity that I never understood it before, but it is clear for me now that he said, put yourself, your ego, which is self, yeah, ego, me, I am, is ego in Greek. If I say I am here, I will say ego. Ego, it's how we say in English ego. So I would say me, myself, I, my identity. And Jesus said, put your ego aside and follow me. And I could not understand, how do I put my ego aside? Like, I don't have to assert boundaries. I don't have to have my own beliefs, my own roles. No, it doesn't mean you don't have it. It means you don't have them rigid. You are open to change and to embracing new roles, new beliefs, new values, experiment, have more memories, and have more open to social feedback. This creates a different you, a free you. Then you don't have fear. You see how things work. I hope I hope that I helped you to get rid of rigid view of yourself, rigid self image, and now you can work more on your identity, which is connected a lot to what you are doing online on YouTube or in your business, because personal brand is very closely tied to identity, or any brand. If you have your own niche in business, it's also very tied to your results, to your output. So if you don't want to be stressed, if you don't want to fear to try new things, to be more innovative, then you need to get rid of this rigid identity and find, not be afraid to find new you every time. I hope you enjoyed this. So we have so far 132 subscribers. I will ask you to subscribe, because I'm raising here, this is my mission, to equip and raise public figures, people who will influence on national level or on international level with the positive impact, change the things for better, teach people, share their experiences, help people. That's what I do. And I equip with the knowledge how to make quality content. Like there is a free course on this channel. You can go and learn how to set up lights, how to perform in front of the video, how to record reels, shorts, TikToks. It's already released, and I'm going to release soon how to edit them. And then I will help you to start YouTube, because there is also a course that is structured curriculum how to start your YouTube channel, and many more things are waiting for you. Many free courses which used to be paid, and they are free for you now. So subscribe, go to my courses, see my playlists, write comments, share this video, and I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we are talking about the impactful life strategy, and I will be happy to see you again. Bye bye.